For 25 years, I suspected I had an underlying health condition, but I didn't know if it was prediabetes, insulin resistance, or something else. And I had no idea how to fix it. But that's where Levels came in. And I want to show you exactly how they help me. And if when I say Levels, you don't know what that means, it's a two-part solution. First, there's this sensor you put on your arm, and that's a continuous glucose monitor. It constantly monitors what your blood glucose levels are at and reports it back into the Levels app. From there, the Levels app takes information you provided about meals you're doing, exercise, things that you're doing in your life, correlates that data together and helps you understand where you're at and teaches you what you can do to be better. And then you can see those results if it's working or not, so you can continue to make better decisions. And I'm gonna break this into two parts. One, there's identification. Do I have problems? How severe are they? Am I insulin resistant? Am I maybe heading towards diabetes? Things like that. Levels is gonna help you see that and understand where you're at, and then see how well things are improving based on the adjustments you're making. So it's very powerful to know exactly what's going on in your body and if the things you're doing are working or not, while teaching you what you can do along the way. But let's start with identification. I forever thought I've got some sort of health problem. Things don't make sense. And what I mean by this, and we'll see if this relates to you, when I would eat, let's say I had dinner and it was a huge meal and my stomach was just stretched. I'm like, oh, I am so full. At the same time of feeling super full, I craved sugar like there was no tomorrow. I had to have it. I felt like I was starving at the same time as feeling full, which is a miserable feeling. On top of that, I was always hungry. And even outside of meals, I was always craving sugar. I also had brain fog, and if I didn't eat, I'd start to get really nauseous. And I had all sorts of other symptoms, and it made things like weight loss and just general energy, and oh my gosh, the fatigue is something. I would fall asleep all the time. It was horrible. Middle of the workday or doing anything productive, I would just be like, I'm done. It was horrible. And I do personally believe a lot of this was tied to rather severe insulin resistance because of how I ate when I was younger and then not correcting it over time. But identification, how does Levels understand where you're at? Well, I'm gonna talk you through some of the numbers on the app and show you that on screen so you know what I'm talking about. But one of the first metrics that I really paid attention to was waking glucose. If you follow any study or how they identify if you're insulin resistance or borderline going into pre-diabetes, they say that you should be below 100 as far as your measurement when you wake up or in a fasted state. My body didn't know how to use carbs. They were not letting those carbs into the cells. It was just letting it float in the bloodstream because my cells were not listening to my insulin, which is insulin resistance. And I started to realize I really need to correct that. I should not be waking up at levels this high. On top of that, there were some other metrics that were just high overall. Average glucose, this is what over the course of the day, what were your numbers at? You can see before I made changes, early part of this year going into last year, I was at 111, and now you can see I'm averaging 94. So I've made a big adjustment there. Another measurement was the deviation. So you can see here, 14.3 versus 9.1. And here's a huge indication that I am making changes that are making a big difference and correcting this over time. Because how does my body respond to glucose when it does have it? Is it freaking out? Is it doing this throughout the day after that? Or is it like, hey, I can handle this and get back to a stable level. It's okay, we didn't stay elevated that long. How does your body react? And then there are other things like spike time. How often are you spiked? So if you look back at a day or an average of your days, are you having meals and you are spending 4 hours a day in a spiked state where your blood sugars are too high? Or is your body taking a meal, not even spiking at all or barely spiking it and getting back to levels? These are all the different metrics that I'm able to look at Levels and go, okay, I'm doing good, or oh, I've got some work to do. They also give you stability scores, and I'm looking at overall averages here, but you can also go look at daily numbers. I'll put those on the screen as well. But all in all, between my waking glucose, how long my spike durations were, my deviations, my average glucose, all those numbers came together to tell me I am most definitely insulin resistant, or even borderline starting to get worse than that. My blood sugar remained very high. Why? I'm not having carbs. How could it be high? Well, I'm so insulin resistant that one, my body had stored carbs that it needed to use up and it was releasing those. But two, what little I was getting through the day, my body was not using properly. It was just floating in the bloodstream, not getting the cells, which gave me two bad feelings. One, it felt like I was starving because my cells, my brain, they were not getting the glucose they needed. because my cells were not listening to that insulin. But also it was causing my blood glucose to remain elevated, which is not a good thing either. So I went even more serious. One, I continued with my healthy trends, but I even followed the results a level stronger and got more extreme with my diet. And since then, things have improved so much. And I am personally feeling so much better. To give you an idea of the results of following this, what I've seen, one, in the past 2.5 months, I've lost about 15 pounds. Still got some work to do there, but it's heading in the right direction because of what I'm doing here. I also feel like I'm sleeping so much better. I wake up feeling more refreshed than I used to. I still think I have room for improvement there, but I am not crazy fatigued like I used to be. I'm not just falling asleep. As soon as I sit down on the couch and I think I'm gonna watch a show with the family and I'm just suddenly sleeping, I'm not doing that anymore. I have more energy throughout the day. I feel more level. Like, instead of having these, oh, I just had something, I got some energy, and then, oh, I'm done 10 minutes later, I just feel like I can go. My whole day feels smoother and better. So the changes I'm doing here on my real life are having an impact. But as I was showing you earlier, you can see that the numbers are trending in the right direction. So again, average glucose went from 111 to 94 on the day. I'm averaging, not only I said I want to be below 100 waking up, I'm averaging that on the whole day, which is fantastic. I am so happy about that. The deviations down from 14.3 to 9.1. Meal scores have improved. Spike duration, spike count, way down. My stability scores went from an average of 77 to 88 now, and even trending higher if you look at that graph. Waking glucose, so much better. I am down to 87 from 105. And so I'm throwing a lot of data at you. This is data that I get from Levels, but it's not just like they're giving you numbers, but you gotta figure out how to do it on your own from there. What do I do? You know, it's just data. They are teaching you, they are giving you meal ideas, adjustments you should make, things to consider in your lifestyle that correlate to what they're seeing in the data. Here are things that you're doing, you should consider this. And these are things that you don't realize, so suddenly you start implementing changes that have a profound impact on your health. And in my case, I focused on better sleep. I focused on better hydration. I have dramatically changed my meals, what I'm eating, when I'm eating, how I'm eating, and all these things have come together to make a big difference. So I've done a lot of things there, and I am gonna talk about that more. Obviously, I can't fit that all in one video, so I will talk about things more. Comment below and let me know what specific categories you wanna know more about, because I am happy to talk about any of it and all of it, but let me know what you wanna know. But in short, Levels has helped me learn a lot, because what it does is, one, it gives you all those teaching tools I told you about, but on top of that, you log your meals, you log your exercise. Again, diet has been huge for me, and I have actually enjoyed it. I've simplified my diet a lot based on the results. I found foods that work for me, and I've stuck to that. So I don't have to worry about having 20 different meals I might make throughout the course of the week. I'm sticking to just a few options and mixing those options up, but it's easy, it's fun, I enjoy it, and my numbers are so much better, and I feel so much better. So again, there's a million ways to break down what I'm doing with Levels, the changes I'm making because of the data I'm seeing, and I'm happy to talk about that. Comment below. But in reality, Levels and just using the data it's given me is allowing me to make way more informed decisions, and I am noticing a major difference, not only in how I feel, but the numbers that are represented here. So it's been huge. I hope you find that helpful. I would love to talk about this more, but I need to know what you want to hear about, so let me know. But until then, I hope you have a great one, and I'll talk to you later.